A good personality isn't just about being nice. It's a direct expression of a highly functioning mind. Now, I know that sounds like a bold, even controversial statement. You might be thinking, so are you saying quiet people, or people who are a bit rough around the edges, aren't smart? And the answer is absolutely not. The idea isn't that one type of personality is intellectually superior to another. What we're really talking about are the foundational pillars that create what we perceive as a good or attractive personality. Things like emotional stability, being considerate, reliability, and the ability to handle conflict with grace. These aren't just soft skills. They are the output of sophisticated cognitive machinery working at full capacity. A truly great personality is a demonstration of cognitive strength in action. So, how exactly is your personality a reflection of your cognitive horsepower? Let's break it down from the perspective of psychology. We often separate our emotions from our intellect. We have gut feelings and we have rational thoughts. But what modern psychology has revealed is that the ability to skillfully navigate the emotional world is a form of intelligence in its own right. This is what psychologists call emotional intelligence, or EQ. And it is fundamentally a cognitive skill set. EQ is the cognitive ability to accurately perceive emotions in yourself and others, to understand the signals they're sending, and to manage your own emotional state to achieve a goal. It's not about being overly emotional or suppressing your feelings. It's about processing them intelligently. Let's look at a classic example. Your friend comes to you, visibly distressed, after receiving some harsh criticism from their boss. The low EQ response, driven by an immediate discomfort with their negative emotion, might be to say, "Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Just forget it." This response isn't malicious, but it's cognitively simple. It bypasses the emotional data and jumps to a quick, dismissive solution. The high EQ response is a masterclass in cognitive processing. You would pause, observe their body language, listen to their words, and perform a series of rapid mental calculations. You'd access your knowledge of your friend, of workplace dynamics, and of human emotion. Your response might be, "That sounds incredibly frustrating. I know how much effort you put into that project, so hearing that criticism must have been really disheartening. What did you do there? You didn't just offer a generic platitude. You perceived the emotion. You understood its source, you validated it, and you created a space for connection." That entire sequence is a high-level cognitive act. It requires processing complex, abstract information and generating an appropriate response. True empathy isn't just feeling for someone, it's thinking with them. Have you ever described someone as being incredibly disciplined, reliable, or conscientious? We often attribute these traits to sheer willpower, as if these people were just born with more internal fortitude. But the truth is, these personality traits are deeply intertwined with what neuroscientists call executive functions. Self-regulation is the ability to manage your thoughts, behaviors, and emotions to achieve your long-term goals. It's what allows you to resist an immediate temptation in favor of a future reward. The personality trait most associated with this is conscientiousness, which involves being organized, responsible, and hardworking. Let's make this real. Imagine two people who both want to improve their health. Person A operates on fleeting motivation. They buy a gym membership in a burst of enthusiasm, go hard for a week, but the moment they have a stressful day at work, their plan collapses. They order takeout, skip the workout, and tell themselves, "I just didn't have the willpower today." Person B, who demonstrates the personality trait of conscientiousness, uses their cognitive skills. They don't just rely on motivation, they build a system. They engage in high-level cognitive tasks like planning and strategic thinking. They might meal prep on Sunday, anticipating that they'll be tired during the week. They schedule their workouts in their calendar, treating them as non-negotiable appointments. When the impulse to quit arises, they use their cognitive ability to override it, reminding themselves of their why, the long-term goal. Their discipline isn't a magical force. It's a set of cognitive strategies in action: goal setting, planning, and impulse control. Their admirable personality trait is, in fact, a display of a well-managed mind. Discipline is not the absence of temptation, but the cognitive mastery over it. Why can two people experience the exact same event, yet have wildly different reactions? One person gets laid off and sees it as a catastrophic failure, while another sees it as an opportunity to reinvent their career. The difference isn't the event itself, but the cognitive process of interpretation. This is explained by the cognitive appraisal model, a theory which posits that our emotional response is not a direct reaction to an event, but to our personal interpretation of that event. People we often describe as having a good personality, calm, resilient, optimistic, are often masters of adaptive cognitive appraisal. Their emotional stability, a key component of the personality trait of low neuroticism, is linked to how they interpret life's ambiguities and challenges. For example, imagine two colleagues who are given the same piece of critical feedback in a performance review. Colleague A, who might be higher in the personality trait of neuroticism, engages in a maladaptive appraisal. Their cognitive process sounds like this: my boss is pointing out my flaws. This means she thinks I'm incompetent. I'm probably going to be fired. This is a disaster. This interpretation, this cognitive act, directly generates feelings of anxiety, shame, and defensiveness. Colleague B, on the other hand, deploys a different cognitive strategy. Their appraisal sounds more like this: okay, this feedback is direct and not easy to hear, but it's valuable data. It's highlighting a blind spot I can work on. This is an opportunity to improve. They have cognitively reframed the exact same event from a threat into a challenge. As a result, their emotional response is not one of panic, but of focused determination. Their calm and proactive personality isn't an accident. It is the direct product of a sophisticated cognitive ability to frame and interpret events in a way that serves them. What separates a calm person from an anxious one isn't the absence of problems, but the quality of their cognitive appraisal. Finally, let's talk about being good with people. This quality, being charismatic, a great listener, a team player, is powered by an incredibly complex cognitive engine called social cognition. Social cognition is how we process, store, and apply information about other people and social situations. A key part of this is cognitive empathy, the ability to intellectually understand another person's perspective, thoughts, and feelings, as distinct from simply feeling what they feel, which is emotional empathy. It's the ability to create a mental model of someone else's mind. Consider a simple team meeting. You propose a new idea. A coworker immediately points out several potential flaws. The cognitively simplistic reaction is to take it personally. They're attacking my idea. They're trying to make me look bad. This leads to a defensive or aggressive response, damaging the relationship and derailing the meeting. But the person with high social cognition runs a much more complex mental simulation. They ask themselves, what is the underlying reason for their objection? Are they worried about the budget? Do they feel their own project is being threatened? Or are they playing devil's advocate to help stress test the idea and make it stronger? This analytical process allows them to respond strategically and effectively. They might say, "You've raised some important points about the budget. That's a key concern. Can you walk me through your specific worries so we can see if there's a way to address them?" This person is seen as collaborative, thoughtful, and a leader. But that perception is built on a purely cognitive skill, the ability to decenter from their own ego and analyze the mental and emotional state of another. A great conversationalist isn't just a good talker, they are a sophisticated mind reader. So, when we look at it this way, a good personality is elevated from something passive that we simply have to something active that we do. It is the outward expression of a brain that is skilled in emotional regulation, executive control, resilient interpretation, and social analysis. This is incredibly empowering. It means that your personality isn't a fixed destiny. Just as you can train your body, you can train your mind. By developing these cognitive skills, you are not just becoming nicer or more disciplined. You are upgrading the very lens through which you experience the world and the way the world experiences you. You are moving from a life of automatic reaction to one of conscious, intelligent response. And that is a form of brilliance that impacts every single aspect of your existence. If this idea resonated with you, I'm curious, which of these cognitive areas do you feel is your strength? And which would you like to develop more? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And for more deep dives into the psychology that shapes our lives, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching.